I've been using the Samsung Galaxy A04s for almost a month now, and it has been my main phone all this while. In this video, I'm going to share all my experience with the phone, both the good, the bad, and even the ugly. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the phone. So if you are someone that wants to buy this phone, then this video is for you, and you need to watch it to the very end to really know everything about the phone. I have an unboxing video that will be linked in the description below, and you can check it out after watching this video. Well, the design is minimal, nothing out of the box on the Samsung Galaxy A04s. It's made of plastic at the back, and that makes it durable. I've accidentally dropped the phone twice, I'll say from like 4 feet, and I picked it up just fine. You can barely see any scratches from a glance. The back is slippery and I have sweaty palms. That makes it a bit difficult to hold sometimes. It has rounded edges at the back, and it's to kind of provide a better grip for the phone. You need to have a protective case to give it a better grip and overall protection. Don't be like me, you definitely need a case on this phone. Samsung also doesn't give us any protective case in the box, but I'll definitely link some in the description. There are 3 cameras at the back of the phone, and we'll talk about them later in the video. There is also a fingerprint scanner that is fast, and it unlocks the phone all the time. The phone charges through a USB-C port, and we have a downfiring speaker and headphone jack. The downfiring speaker isn't the best, but I can't really say much because most speakers around this price category are not impressive. The phone supports dual 4G SIM cards, and there is also a separate slot for a memory card. For the build quality, is very okay, especially if you have the price in mind. It wasn't made to compete with kind of any top devices. Up front, it has an Infinity V cutout, or a water drop notch like we generally call it. The bezels around the display are thick, especially the bottom chin. The display is flat, and I love it for that. The bezels around it didn't even let the display get to the edge. Samsung phones are known for having good displays. Well, the Galaxy A04s doesn't come in that direction. It's not bad, but coming from Samsung, I expected a little bit better. It comes with an IPS LCD display with 720p resolution, which is kind of a bummer to be honest. The only thing great about the display is the 90Hz refresh rate. I feel they settled for either 1080p or 90Hz because the chipset powering the phone can actually handle 1080p resolution. There are times when the phone dials its head back to 60Hz, and it's probably to reserve battery. That happens mostly when you keep the phone idle. The display is 6.5 inch, which is large enough for me, but it isn't bright enough. Under the sun, you struggle to see the display, and I feel let down since it's a Samsung phone. Nonetheless, it is responsive to touch, and the refresh rate makes it even more enjoyable when you are indoors while scrolling. You'll enjoy streaming content on the phone indoors, and YouTube videos can be streamed in 1080p. The Samsung Galaxy A04 is a budget phone, I get, but there were times I wish it had an AMOLED display. The Samsung Galaxy A04s comes with a 5000 mAh battery, and the chipset powering the phone is kind of power efficient. I consistently get between 7 to 8 hours daily from the phone, which is great. I am someone who is constantly using their phone. The battery can last a whole day, but you will need to charge it before the next day. The high refresh rate is responsible for making the battery drain, but it isn't really bad. Charging is a pain, takes slightly over 2 hours to charge from 0 to 100. Samsung bundled a 15-watt fast charger inside the box, but that depends on your region. It's awkward that chargers are now taken out of boxes of devices that cost less than $150. Samsung Galaxy A04s runs on Android 12 and One UI 4.1 Core Edition. It means you'll miss out on some advanced features of the One UI. It's more of an entry-level device, and they need to keep it as fast as possible. So I think that's why they tuned down the One UI version on the Samsung Galaxy A04s. Using the phone, you won't even notice because it's still the normal One UI we know and love. You just don't have access to Bixby, secure folder, easy mode, and a few other features on the phone. Every other software feature on the phone is working as expected. One thing though I think people will miss that are conversant with the One UI will have to be the game launcher and maybe the edge panels that kind of allow you to access some apps on the Samsung phone quickly. You can double tap on the display to wake it up, or set it to wake the moment you hold it while looking on the display. I love the color palette option you get depending on your wallpaper. You can also add dark mode to the wallpaper. The One UI is smooth and pleasing with all the animation. It's not at its best though, like say what you get on the Samsung Galaxy A53. There are times when it's a little bit slow, especially the animation while opening up apps and swiping on the Galaxy A04s. Samsung used their in-house Exynos 850 chipset on the Galaxy A04s, and it's an old chipset. It's the same chipset found on the Samsung Galaxy A13, but performance is much better on the A04s surprisingly. My model has 64 gig storage space and 4 gigs RAM. There are other models including a 3 gig RAM and 32 gig storage space model. It's advisable you get the 4 gig RAM model because it will perform a little bit better. I don't want to jump into numbers. While performance isn't downright the best in its class, it's definitely not the worst. The phone is let down by its CPU performance and it's blown away by other phones using MediaTek chipsets in its price category. It's not suitable for gaming, definitely not. I only play minimal games and there are times when Dream League Soccer lags while running. Samsung Galaxy A04s opens up quite quickly, and as long as you don't try anything crazy, the phone is okay. We have 3 cameras at the back, a 50 megapixel primary camera, which is the most important camera on the phone. There are 2 megapixel sensors at the back, but I struggle to really find their use case. One is for micro photography while the other is for depth sensing. The 50 megapixel main camera takes some decent pictures in daylight condition with good lighting. It handles dynamic range nicely and it blows any camera in its class in that aspect. One thing though is that the Exynos 850 only supports 48 megapixel camera lens in resolution, but Samsung has 50 megapixel here. It's kind of sketchy. There is up to 10x zoom in the camera menu, and Samsung is trying to use software that isn't really great on the Galaxy A04s. So the images using the zoom are downright poor. You should expect decent photos in low light, even though there isn't a dedicated night mode in the camera menu. There is a good amount of details and color, but you can't really do much in terms of noise and HDR. The macro lens is just there to adopt the numbers. Photos look washed and they are a bit far from their natural colors. The depth sensor is also another gimmick. I honestly wish they added a single 50 megapixel camera on the phone and gave it all the power. The 5 megapixel selfie camera is decent, and here are some images from the front camera. You can shoot videos at 1080p or 720p at 30 frames per second on the Samsung Galaxy A04s. Now, rounding up the video, the Samsung Galaxy A04s is a decent phone coming directly from the Galaxy A03s, but it's competing directly with the Redmi Note 11 in terms of price. What Redmi is offering here is ahead of what we have on the Galaxy A04s. I won't really go into details. I might reserve it for another video, so subscribe if you want to see it. It has a good battery life, but then slow charging was a problem for me. The 50 megapixel camera is okay and one of the best in class. It is let down by its display because it isn't as bright, and I feel you will have a better experience maybe buying the Samsung Galaxy A13 unless you want to use it for basic tasks alone. Well, that's it for this video, and if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in the next one.